Good afternoon and welcome to What Now with the Brown Political Review. I'm Ciara.
And I'm Raghav.
Did I see you at Joe's last night?
Yeah, I'm there every night.
Oh, okay.
Well, unlike us, the fast food chain restaurant Snake and Shake has just instituted its first ever Chief MAHA officer, Michael Bose, who aside from being a former senior advisor at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, has not yet responded to my request to connect on LinkedIn. I'm trying to get that 500 plus, man.
MAHA, if you don't know, stands for Make America Healthy Again, a recent movement spearheaded by Secretary of Health and Human Services and Family Disappointment, Robert Kennedy Jr.
As he leads this movement, Kennedy is supported by his deputy secretary, a brainworm.
The MAHA movement has been controversial, to put it lightly. On the surface, its primary goals of reducing chronic diseases, encouraging exercise and healthy eating, and pushing for greater regulations on processed foods seems like a worthy mission.
But this campaign is also riddled with misinformation. The Trump administration's recent 73-page Make America Healthy Again report, which RFK Jr. called gold standard, has been found to include several citations to non-existent studies. Seems like someone used chat over Claude.
And this misinformation has dangerous side effects, no pun intended. RFK Jr. has been a vocal critic of vaccines, and we're beginning to see the consequences of the growing anti-vax movement.
The measles vaccine, which was first licensed in 1963, has been proven to be over 97% effective and is linked to, at most, incredibly mild side effects.
But a recent study by Johns Hopkins has found an average decline of over 2.67 in MMR vaccination rates in American children since COVID, a change that can be largely attributed to the anti-vax movement and its growing place in the federal government.
America is now at risk of losing its measles elimination status, which is incredibly concerning for two reasons. First, measles is a highly infectious disease, and herd immunity, which can only be achieved with a vaccination rate of 95%, is essential for preventing an outbreak.
And second, losing is embarrassing.
For those unable to be vaccinated, such as infants, the growing presence of measles, which has already resulted in 1,700 cases by the start of this year, is incredibly dangerous, as it can result in pneumonia, encephalitis, and of course, death.
But, not to worry, I'm sure RFK Jr. is spending his time and taxpayer dollars to prevent this potentially devastating outbreak. You know what? Let's see what he's up to right now.
For the shots of Jack, in the caps of meth, half pints of love, and the fists of stress. For the hookers all tricking out in Hollywood, and for my hoods of the world misunderstood. I said it's all good, and it's all in fun. They get in the pit and try to love someone.
We salute his service. Cute jeans, too.
His milkshake sure brings all the dead bears to Central Park.
Either way, we can rest assured that our nation is in the hands of very capable people, who are, among many things, good at math. Trump has recently boasted a 600% decrease in prescription drug prices.
And for any of our APMA concentrators who may say, hey, wait, that's impossible, here's why you're wrong.
President Trump has a different way of calculating. If there's two ways of calculating percentage. If you have a $600 drug and you reduce it to 10, that's a 600% reduction.
Wait, I'm getting some conflicting information from our experts. Apparently, there's actually a 98.3% reduction, and a 600% reduction would be mathematically impossible.
Well, in the words of another incredibly trustworthy health official, Dr. Oz, the decline in drug prices is too high to calculate without a more studied approach.
Maybe he should try defying gravity?
Whoa!
Considering that most of the federal government was born before the invention of the calculator, this may be true.
Whether the MAHA movement will continue to grow or whether the reemergence of the bubonic plague will once again remind us why we need vaccines is still up in the air, but perhaps some good can come out from this movement.
When asked why a fast food restaurant could benefit from having a MAHA officer, Steak and Shake's Bose said customers should never have to choose between taste and health.
Fortunately, this has never been a problem for Steak and Shake customers. They're getting neither.
Well, that's all we have for today, so thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Ciara.
And I'm Raghav.
And this has been
What Now?